Hi, this is Scott Holcomb, Superintendent of Schools. Thank you for joining me for the FY18 line item budget requests. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them in the box below the YouTube video labeled comments, or email me directly at sholcomb@naschools.net. We'll be looking at a series of 4 slides that contain 3 budgets. The last year's budget of 2016, this year's budget we're working with of 2017, and the budget request of 2018. On the far right hand side, the percents that you see, what they're showing you is how much of this year's budget each one of the items actually accounts for as a percent. As we look across, you can see the increases or decreases going from FY16 to 17, and then how all the line items remain consistent in FY18 through the entire slide. The thing we need to pay most attention to here is we can see where the increases in the social emotional supports came into play, but at the same time too, we can see where the decreases took part for the social emotional supports that we had. I know that drawing out at the lines went through some of the numbers, but if you have to, you could look back in the YouTube video to see what those lines were before I drew circles around them. And we had a net savings with the model that we went to in the last year into this year. However, as the presentation number 1 of the YouTube video showed and demonstrated, there is still a need to have school adjustment counselors be part of our social emotional model. This slide here demonstrates the total dollar amount that we're asking for in the salary holding account. If we go across, we're looking at $819,761 that we will need for the salary increases, contractual and otherwise, that we have in the FY18 request. And the percent on the right hand side that we're looking at is that our salaries, our fixed costs, if we're to keep everyone in place that we have this year into next year, accounts for 88.7% of the overall school budget. And the total dollar amounts you can see as we move through 2016, 2017, and the request over here in 2018. At the bottom of the slide in yellow are the 4 pieces that we talked about in the first YouTube video, which requires us to have increased social emotional learning supports, have a math teacher for the middle school, the NEASC curriculum instruction director, along with an additional piece that was decided with the at the school committee meeting to add in was the elimination of the high school parking fee. And the bottom pieces add up to $355,000. Our third slide moves beyond salaries for employees into our expenses. And if we look at the far right hand side, we can see what percent of the total school budget each one of those expenses takes up. And what I want us to pay attention to for future viewing is the instructional supply line that we have moving forward in that percent that it makes up. And we are looking at currently, as I mentioned in a previous video, having approximately $110,000 under the FY17 budget. And so we're looking at a gap budget deficit in 2018 of over $1 million that we have to fill in at the current information that would be given by the town. Again, that's $110,000 less than our FY17 budget that we're going to have to work with in FY18. So as I'm showing these slides, you can see the amount of a gap that we're going to have created by the budget needs for salary increases and other fixed costs. The final slide of our presentation displays the grand total of the budgets for the FY16, FY17, and requested FY18 school years. We had in FY16 $36,214,000. We're working with this year in FY17 $36,249,000, which is an increase of $35,000 from FY16 to FY17. And then we have the request of FY18 of $37,424,000, representing a 3.24% increase in the budget from FY17 to FY18. However, we have negative $110,000 being applied to the budget of FY17. The town said we actually have $110,000 less to work with in 2018 FY18 when compared to 2017. So we have less money to work with next year than we have to work with this year, as we're being told from the town. So I want to ask you to join me again on YouTube or watch the school committee meeting on in April 5th. And during that meeting, you'll see a presentation that describes how we will handle the budget cuts coming forward from that point forward. So thanks so much for joining this presentation. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them below the video in the comment box or to email me directly at sholcomb@naschools.net. Thank you.